Hi, my name is Valerie Pearson and I am the author of Home Cheesemaking in Australia, and I want to talk to you today about making dairy yogurt. So you can get all these yogurt cultures and the yogurt maker at Green Living Australia, and once you have them, you just go ahead and make sure that your hygiene is your top priority. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to sterilize or sanitize the equipment that you're going to be using. So this is the yogurt maker, and this is the internal container that comes with the yogurt maker and the lid. So I've boiled the jug. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pieces and I'm going to put them on a draining area and then just douse them with boiling water to make sure that they are sanitized. Okay, I'm happy with that. They've all been doused in boiling water. They were already washed in hot soapy water. They're actually run through a hot cycle on a dishwasher, no problem. So now they are ready to use for our yogurt making. So I'm making dairy yogurt today. You can use fresh milk from the refrigerator section in the supermarket, or you can use long life milk. If you are using fresh milk from the supermarket, you're going to need to heat treat that milk to unravel or denature the protein so they become sticky and give you a thick yogurt. So that's the first thing that you need to do to make sure you get a thick yogurt, is make sure your proteins are denatured by heat treatment. So if you are using that fresh milk from the grocery store, heat it to 90 degrees in a pot on the stove, and then hold it there for about 10 minutes and cool it down to 40, which is the temperature that the bacteria is going to want to be at. Pop it in your yogurt maker and then pop your culture in. I'm cheating today. I'm not going to take the time to do that. I actually purchased some long life milk from the grocery store. You know which one to get. Make sure you get a good brand. I like Devondale. I guess it's just my favorite brand, but there's lots of them that work quite well. I've taken 2 litres because this has a 2-litre capacity and I go through a lot of yogurt, and I've popped it in a pot of warm water just to warm it up. It doesn't need to be heat treated because it's already heat treated, but I do want it to be as close to 40 degrees as possible. So I just use hot tap water, pop it in a pot and warm it up while I'm getting my other equipment ready. Not really a big issue when you're in summer, but in winter, especially in colder parts of the country, the milk can be quite cool even coming out of your pantry. And I'm in Stanthorpe most of my time, and it gets pretty cold there in winter. But if you're in, Victoria, South Australia, Tasmania, quite a few areas get really cold in winter. So I'm going to put about half of the milk in because I need to mix some other ingredients in, and I don't want it too full because I'll spill it. So now that I've got about half the milk in, I'm going to do the second thing that's going to give me really thick, creamy yogurt. I'm going to add some powdered milk. If you like a lovely, thick Greek yogurt, then you've got 2 choices. You can either make yogurt and then pour it into a colander lined with a tight weave cheesecloth and drain about 20% of the liquid out of it. So out of a litre, you're going to get, instead of a kilo of yogurt, you're going to get 800 grams. That's called Greek yogurt or drained yogurt. Or the other thing you can do is you can fortify the milk with extra protein, fat, and lactose by adding powdered milk. So I'm doing a 2-litre batch, so I'm going to put 2/3 of a cup of powdered milk. So your ratio is for every 1 litre, go ahead and put 1/3 of a cup of powdered milk. So I've just got powdered milk from the grocery store, and I'm popping that into my milk to fortify my milk, to increase the protein, mostly is what I'm looking for. So mix that in. This is the whisk that I scalded off earlier. The other thing you need to know about the whisk is it's sealed. Have a look where the pieces of metal arrive in the handle, and if they're wiggling around, you can see up inside that handle, and if when you put that whisk in the sink, that handle can fill with water, it's not sealed. A sealed whisk, they don't move around at all. You can't see into the handle, and water cannot get into the handle. If it's not sealed, then there's probably more bacteria growing in the handle of your whisk than there are stars in the Milky Way. So every time you use it, of course, you're sprinkling that bacteria on the surface of whatever you're stirring. So if you do that, and then you call me on the helpline, which runs 6 days a week at Green Living Australia, and you say, hey, there's something growing on the top of my yogurt, what could it be? I'm going to ask you about your whisk, and then I'm going to tell you you are growing whatever you put in there while you were stirring it. So while we do want bacteria to grow, the bacteria that we're going to put in the yogurt culture, we don't want random bacteria that's in the handle of a whisk to grow. So now that I've mixed it and I'm not worried about spilling it so much, I'm going to put some more milk in. working my way towards putting the whole 2 liters in. So now I've got about 2/3 of it in there, and now I'm going to add my last couple of ingredients. The third thing for making your yogurt really thick and creamy is adding calcium chloride. Imagine that your proteins are like bricks in a wall. They bond together to give you a lovely, thick, creamy yogurt. Well, if they're the bricks in the wall, the calcium chloride, that free calcium, is actually the mortar that holds the bricks together. When those proteins do start to denature, which is what we want with the heat treatment, and also as the yogurt becomes more acidic, as the lactic acid bacteria eats the lactose and turns it into acid, that denatures the proteins some more. What happens is a negative charge comes to the outside of those proteins. I know it's a bit sciencey, but calcium is positive. So positives and negatives attract each other, so it helps you get a thicker curd. All I did was put 2 or 3 drops per liter of calcium chloride into my yogurt mixture, and I'm going to get that lovely thick yogurt. So I'm up to the final step, which is adding the culture itself. I've warmed the milk to 40. I've made sure I've used heat-treated milk. I've added powdered milk, and I've added calcium chloride. Those are the 3 things that are going to give me that thick, creamy yogurt. Now I can go ahead and add the culture. So with one of the Green Living Australia cultures, this is the mild culture, already taken out of the packet, popped into the sterile jar. I'm now going to go ahead and put that culture in there. I've already sanitized a knife, and I'm going to get my culture, which is in a sterile jar, and I'm going to use the sterile knife to get just a little bit of culture on the end. I've got a couple of videos already on how to do this dosing part of it. Check out one of those videos, but you see how small amount that is? That's enough to do 2 liters. So I'm going to pop that in there. And then this culture is going to go straight back into the freezer where it came from. It lasts for years in the freezer. So when you get a packet of our culture, it's enough to make 100 liters. A lot of you guys are going to go, 100 liters? When am I going to get through 100 liters? Even if I did a liter every week, that's nearly 2 years. Don't worry, the culture will still work beautifully in 2 years' time when you do that last 1 liter batch. Okay, now I'm mixing that culture in. I'm just going to put the rest of my milk in, pouring it slowly so I don't spill it. And then once that milk is in, I'm ready to put the lid on my container and pop it into my yogurt maker. There we go, last of the milk. Get every little bit out, don't want to waste any. That 2 liters of milk is going to turn into 2 kilos of beautiful yogurt. All right, so go ahead and put the lid on, which has also been scalded off in boiling water. And then here's your yogurt maker. Put it in the yogurt maker and put this on top. It's already plugged in and turned on. What I need to do now is leave it there for 24 hours. Remember the video on the yogurt maker? This is a long fermentation yogurt maker. That means I don't have to leave this in just for 8 to 10 hours and then eat the yogurt with that level of probiotics. I can leave it in for 24 hours if I want to, and every half hour that bacteria is going to double. So the longer I leave it, the more probiotic bang for my buck I'm going to get. So I'm actually going to ferment this for 24 hours. It's recommended by the SCD diet and the GAPS diet, and it's definitely the way to go when you're making yogurt. So if you want to make yogurt, follow these steps. Green Living Australia yogurt maker and cultures are available at greenlivingaustralia.com.au. If you have friends that you know that want to make yogurt, or you think they should be making yogurt, then share this video with them. Next time that I speak to you, I'm going to be talking to you about kefir. It is another beautiful probiotic product. You can use dairy or non-dairy to make lovely kefir drinks. The biggest thing that you're going to learn in that video, though, is the difference in between kefir grains and kefir culture. So I'll see you next time when I talk to you some more about other fermenting. Thanks a lot.